Hi everyone, it is a gorgeous Wednesday, December 29th, and I am sitting out here in a t-shirt and jeans getting ready to work on this project. It's beautiful out here. Okay, so these are parts of my project, and this has been something I've been thinking about doing for a while, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it. So I'm finally feeling like I've got a plan. I want quail. I want quail for the meat and quail for the eggs. So there's all kinds of different ways to have quail. You can have them in a wire metal cage, like the one I wanted from Wynola. I think it's called Wynola Ranch. I will put a link in the description below. But with that really awesome wire cage, the slats are wide enough that things like weasels, rats, snakes could get in there and get the quail. So I'm better off with mesh wire. Well, I should say my quail cage will be outside. It's not going to be in the shed. It's not going to be in the house. It's going to be outside. So I have to think about the predators. So I decided to do a small single cage for the quail. And these cookie sheets, I think, are a really nice size. I will try to put an affiliate link in the description. So these will be the poop trays to catch the poop, because I think I've decided to put the quail on the deck, either around front by the front door, by the overhang, or over there by my bedroom by that rail. That way they're close to the house, a little safer from things like the neighborhood dogs, bears, I would say raccoons and possums, but there's been a possum on my deck already. But at least I can hear. Maybe if the birds are freaking out in the nighttime, I can hear it and come out and rescue them. So I don't want the droppings to just fall to the ground. So I'm going to use trays to catch the droppings. And these cookie sheets are really, I think, strong. And this was the stuff I just purchased today. I've had the wire. I've been purchasing a little at a time. I've been thinking about how to have the setup. So as I was gathering supplies, I decided I'm going to have 2 cages, same size, one above the other, and then that way I will have one small flock of quail. But then when I get around to incubating their babies and having babies, they'll have to go in a different cage. So I'm going to have what they call a grow out pen underneath. So this is kind of what I've decided mine should look like. So on YouTube, I watch Living Traditions, Kevin and Sarah. They're awesome. And they have quail. And Kevin showed how he built his wooden and wire cage. But his are in a barn. So his are all wooden frame and wire. And then there's a guy, I can't remember his first name, Simply Redneck. And so his are outside, and it's in a wood frame cage, Hutch, and wire. But there's also a part of it that is wooden, kind of like a rabbit hutch. So I am planning on having 2 trays below all wire, an all wire section, for a lot of air and ventilation, but then one wooden enclosed part like a rabbit hutch so they can get in and get out of the weather. And this will have a door going into the caged in part. So yeah, I am very anxious about this because I am no good at measuring. I can slap things kind of together like the chicken coop, halfway done chicken coop out there, but when it comes to measuring a frame to hold these trays or to match one cage match another, I'm just kind of intimidated, freaked out about that. So instead of building the hutch, the cage, by measurements and then sliding the trays in, I am going to start with the frame that holds the poop trays and then put the legs on. So I got 2x4s for the legs. A lot of people use, are these 2x2s? I called them 1x1s the other day at a lumber store, and the guy looked at me like I was crazy. Well, now I know why, because I think they're 2x2s. I'm using 2x4s for legs because I want to put wheels on the bottom. I want to put casters on the bottom because this will be kind of heavy when it's done. I will probably want to move it from one spot in my deck to the other, and it's going to be hard to move if there's not wheels on it. So that's why I chose 2x4, so I can drill a hole in the bottom to attach a wheel on each leg. So I think I've got everything. Oh, I left the screws in the house. But I've got my DeWalt saw, my DeWalt screw gun, staples for the wiring. I hate using this thing. It's so hard for my hand to squeeze, but I think that's the best way to attach the wiring. I'm going to have to trim the wiring down to size because quails don't need a tall cage. In fact, a tall cage is not good for them because when they get frightened, they just hop straight up into the air with lots of force and they can break their necks, so I'm told. And so you only want a short cage for them so they can't get that velocity. So I'm going to have to trim my wire to make it fit the frame. And of course measuring, and then the wires. This wire is inch by half-inch mesh because as I was watching Zach from My Shire Quality Quails, My Shire Quail Farm. I'll put a link down below for that too. I had planned on doing the whole entire cage with this teeny tiny mesh. And his recommendation, and he raises a whole bunch of quail, is not to use this teeny tiny because it kind of hurts their feet because it's not as smooth. And because even though they're teeny tiny birds, the manure doesn't fall through very well. And so the cage gets dirty and gross, and their feet get gross, and their eggs get gross, and all that. And so this is for the flooring of the cage, for them to walk on, and for the dirt to fall through. And I'll use this because I already had this. I had this last year, the year before, whatever. I don't know. I've got several rolls of this, I think, or something like this around because I used it for plants when the shack was still here. So this is my my very rough sketch. I don't think you can probably understand it, but maybe you can. With 2 trays will be under just wire, and 1 tray will be boxed in like a rabbit hutch so they can get in and out of the weather. Okay, I'm nervous. I'm yammering on so I can avoid getting started because I'm nervous. And I can't measure and cut straight to save my life, so we'll see. Okay, wish me luck. Ta-da! I have 1 tray holder frame finished. I started with these. They're only 2 inches long. Whoops, and they were not long enough. I like these though because I don't have hand strength or much control. Gross motors, no, not gross, the other one, fine motor skill. And so I strip screws out all the time. So I like this because they come with their own star bit. I don't know if you can see that. And so that, as opposed to a Phillips bit, helps me not strip it out. But these were not long enough. And I already had those, so I switched to, these are 3-inch, and they're the Phillips heads, so I have to go really slow and try to be careful so I don't strip it out. So I had to switch to the 3-inch. So, and all you people that know how to build are just laughing at me. I just switched to the 3-inch so it would hold, because when I did only the 2-inch, when I tried to turn it to put the next side in, it just fell apart. I am pre-drilling so I don't split the wood because I'm also terrible at splitting the wood. So here's 1 tray holder finished. Okay, I'm going to start on the other one. I decided I'm going to do the tray holder and then the other tray holder, because that way I get the same size. Hopefully, no I won't, but I'll get close to the same size. And then I'll put the legs on and then do the cage frame from there, so that I'm trying to get everything close enough to the same size. Okay, more later. I want to add a couple of bits of information. Number one, I have safety glasses, and guess what? They belong on your face, not on your head. I wasn't into this project. I cut 2 pieces of wood and had to go wash some sawdust out of my eye. So wear protection in all kinds of topics, but wear your safety glasses. And then before I connect this, before I drill and screw it, I am checking each end before I attach it to make sure that tray fits in there. I love these trays so far. I may hate them once the poop gets in there, but right now I love these trays because the lip is so, it's such a curled lip right there that it's holding it in. So I had originally planned on putting another 2x2 under each edge across here to hold the trays in and to help hold the cage sturdier, but I didn't measure correctly for that, so they won't fit. I may put some kind of flat plank board underneath to help hold it sturdier, but because of the way I measured, because I can't measure very well, the 2x2 frame will not fit in between each tray. So the lip on this holds it really well, I think. Okay, that's what I wanted to mention here. Hello everybody. It is the next day, Thursday. That's Willie, the one who can't be quiet if I'm talking. It is Thursday afternoon, and I'm resuming my work on my quail cage. Last night after it got dark, I tried to take in my frame and my rolls of wire. I was planning on cutting the wire to size and then stapling it on, but I had forgotten until I tried to use the stapler that staple gun, whatever it is broken. It was broken a long time ago. The spring flew out. So that put that on pause. This morning I went to get water, a load of water. Here, I'll give you the view while I talk. Load of water, firewood. I cut a little bit of firewood, and that's Daisy, the nosy one. My friend had a stapler to give me, and so I went and got staples, but she also gave me these kind of staples that you use. This is the sunlight. That you use to hammer in with a nail, which I'm very glad to have. And so I'm going to use these staples on this bigger wire, and I will use, if I can get my hand to work right, I will use the staple gun on the 1/4 by 1/4 inch, I guess it is, wire. So this, again, this is the wider apart wire for the floor, so the manure falls through easier and it's smoother on the quail's feet. And then the rest of it will be, the rest of the wire parts will be that smaller wire. So, okay, I cut this far until I needed a break. Woo! That is, well, I guess I got to there. So, back at it. Time's a-wasting. Good morning, everybody. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. It is amazing weather out here today. This is day 3 of the Quail Hutch build. Oh, I'm so slow at this stuff, but I'm very pleased at how far it's coming along. So I've got the floor mesh in. That's the larger 1/2 inch by inch mesh that's better for their feet and the droppings to fall through. I have the little 1/4 by 1/4 mesh on the back. I'll put some on the side. This front will be the door. I had planned on having a door this whole thing, but then I put that in the way. So I'm going to enclose that, and then I'll leave most of this open for them to go in and out. Feel like they have a little enclosed spot. Maybe I'll just put a little partition, but I need that big enough for the sandbox to go in and out easily. So the roof, I have a piece of leftover tin from my house build that was just 1 inch too narrow to fit on top, and so I pounded it down, flattened it out, stomped on it, banged on it, and it is now wide enough to go on top. So that'll be my roof for the top one. And so then I have to install the legs and the frame for the poop trays under this one, and then I'll have one set done. I don't think, clearly, I'm going to get the second hutch done, but the second hutch should be fairly easy to do, maybe on weekends or that kind of thing. I say easy, we know better. Anyway, that is my progress so far. Things are a mess. I've got things scattered everywhere, and you can imagine how much housework I've done. None! So, it's supposed to rain this weekend. Is it Saturday and Sunday or Saturday and Monday? So I'll stay inside and maybe do housework then. But while it's so beautiful out here, except for the wind, it's pretty windy, I plan on continuing working on my hutch, my quail hutch, and maybe getting down there and cutting up some more firewood. I have so much awesome firewood. I worked on one of the, I'm getting off track. I worked on one of the down trees clear over there by the evergreens. It's been down and it's as old and dry as this one is. I worked on that a little bit, but clearly that's a spot the deer like to bed down quite a bit, and so I only took part of it. So I have to go down there and get some more. I wish this one wasn't so huge. I want that, but that's huge. Okay, more later. I'm yammering and getting off topic. Enjoy your day, and I will be back hopefully with the completion of the top hutch. Hi everybody, it is Sunday, January 2nd. How many days into the build? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 days into the build. 2 days didn't count because I had pouring rain. Ta-da! It is the most crooked, off-center, crazy thing, but it's the top one is finished. The part I am thrilled about is, so there will be a board going under there to avoid that kind of thing, to keep them from dropping out. But I am very excited about the trays. I got the trays in there, and except for that little issue just now of when I move them in and out, I'm going to have to be careful, use both hands, have a board under there. Yay! Poop trays work. The part of it is boxed in, mostly, so they can have a little hidey spot, a little break from the wind. Sheet metal on top, although I did not flatten it enough for something that is not square. So to make sure I covered both of the back ends, it did not, I don't have it fully attached here yet. I'm going to probably put on a piece of wood here and screw it down to sandwich that in. So nothing can, I can't lift it up. I don't want to cut myself. But I don't know, you know, my hands may be weaker than a raccoon. Seriously, I'm not joking. So there. The roof is leftover scrap. Didn't cost me a thing. Well, cost me the house build, but it was left over from the house build. A little clasp. Door opens. I wanted the door to open so it would flop down. And then if I'm working in the cage, I didn't have to hold it up. It would just stay out of the way. I could not hold the door in position and do the hinges. I could not get them in so that I went from the top. So we'll see. Maybe this is okay, because maybe if I have a bird in my hand, the door will mostly shut and keep the others from coming out. But anyway, there it is. I have two different kinds of hooks for this, although it's a tight fit, and both of these are not easy for my hand. My hands are so weak and sore. So I don't know which one I'm going to end up using, or something completely different, because my hands just, that one's easier than the other one. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure that out, which one's best. Because this one is the one I wanted to use. But that is very difficult for my hands and painful. So anyway, I can't even get it off now. The top cage is done. I'm a little concerned about if this is too wide, if it'll let predators in. I don't know. I may have to refit that door. My door is square. By the time I got done with the cage, I knew more about what square is. So this is how off the rest of my cage is, out of square. Yeah, I am pretty excited. So now I need to save up and get the feed. I need to save up and get the birds. This has a wire bottom, but most of this will be, I bought it like a dish pan. Most of this will be their little sandbox, because they love sandboxes, dust baths. So most of that will be that. I also have a lot of tile left over from my living room from the build, and I plan on putting a piece of tile in here so they can be up off the wire also. Maybe I'll set their feeder or their water, depending what kind of feeder and water I have. Maybe I'll set those things on a big piece of tile. So I am very excited that I managed to do that. Oh, you might notice there's no casters. Not only are there no casters, but it is not as tall as I was going to have. So the casters apparently were too small. So it was like putting hundreds of pounds on a ice skating blade, and it just wanted to tip every which way. And then because it's out of square and I can't measure very well, one leg was much shorter, 3/4 of an inch shorter than the other legs. So I took the casters back off and I cut the legs down a little bit. So I am 5'4", and this bar comes up to my eyeball. So that's how much of the legs I cut off. I left a little bit of the poking out of the top, the 2x4s, because if I have the bucket water system and the hose, I'll set the bucket up here for it to kind of gravity feed to the quail. And then I have this, I can put bungee cords to hook that up here, or I can put like a railing up here to keep the bucket from blowing off, because the winds up here get brutal. So there I am. I am very proud of myself for getting this done. I almost gave up multiple times. Multiple times. But then I would just let everything sit for a while. The day of the heaviest rain was helpful because I was able to take time to think about it, what I was going to do with the legs and the door. And here I am. I am ready for my first batch of quail. Oh, I was going to measure it because I know a lot of other people are new to quails and want to know measurements. So I just want to have a really small flock to begin with, And so this is meant for only 10, 12, 14 quail, somewhere around there. But let me measure it. So each of these trays is 15, I think, by 21-ish. I'm going to try to remember to put links in my description so you can, it'll be an affiliate Amazon link if they're on Amazon. So 15 by 21, so my cage was dependent on how big those trays were. But then this final is 23 1/4. Of course, this is wider than the inside of the cage. 23 1/4 by 52. And again, it's a little more narrow. That's just the outside measurement, so a few inches shorter on the inside. That's it. I'm proud. Now I just need to save up the money to get the rest of the stuff and get the birds or eggs in the incubator. Incubatoring. Whatever. Incubating eggs seems very scary to me. Not incubating as much as having the little chicks in a brooder and keeping them the right temperature. That makes me anxious. But I guess if I did this, I can figure out how to have little chicks, huh? Okay, you guys, I hope you had a wonderful new year. People who have gotten the tornadoes again and the horrible storms and the floods, you've been on my mind. The weather here has been beautiful, mostly except for the rain. Unseasonably warm until today. Today is cold, very cold. Tomorrow's supposed to be extremely cold. Well, not extremely for winter, but probably normal winter temperatures. But yeah, hope you had a new year. I hope 2022 brings all of us good things. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, take care. See ya.